All righty, do one. Looking live at Soul Live Stadium where today the 16-0 playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 New York Jets. And why are the New York Jets 0-16? Because they suck. They haven't won a Super Bowl since Super Bowl III. Haven't back to a Super Bowl since Super Bowl III. They've been in some AFC championship games, but they've lost every frickin' one. Why? Because they suck. The New York Jets just suck. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away, throw in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box, if you like 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. But plus also, seriously, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, fire away. Before we get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. The top link in the description box, very top link, takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. First one's called the Saquon, second one's called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them, so if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me, and I thank you so much. I would thank you so much. If you are subscribed to my channel, if you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you all. Maybe you can give this video a thumbs up or possibly share it. That would be freaking awesome. And then finally, just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a minute. The one underneath it, I'm an old-time fart. I can't stand change. I hate change, right? Get off my lawn! I'm one of those old-time farts, right? The link underneath it, it's a Twitter link. It's always been Twitter to me. It'll be Twitter today. It's Twitter tomorrow. 3 million years from now, when I'm long gone, it'll be Twitter. It's Twitter. Whatever letter in the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on you, bro. I'm not calling it that. I'm calling it Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day. So once again, so you follow me, I'll follow you back. And then the link just on top of it takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 7,900 members in the group. We're so close to 8,000 members. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in this group, but members post stuff in this group as well. So between me and the members, there's a boatload. There's a ton. There's an awful lot, you might say, of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. I have all that stuff said and done and out of the way with. Boy, well, I'll tell you. Ooh, baby, man. Oh, it's just like freaking Christmas around here, huh? Who we gonna get? Huh? It is. It's like, I don't know, the 8 days of Hanukkah, whatever it is. You get a present every day. Who's the first present gonna be? Who we gonna get? Man, it's so exciting. Now, as I said, once again, I'm an old time fart. You know what I'm saying? So, when I first started watching, that doesn't matter. I mean, there's turnover every year. I mean, I said, you go back to, not that anybody's going to, but you go back to 1925. Okay. There was Giants had 29 guys on the roster, right? When they went to 1926, only 12 of those 29 guys were on the 26 roster. Okay, between guys going to other leagues, there was an AAFL in 1926. guys going to other teams, guys just getting injured, guys retiring. A couple of guys retired after the season was over with and everything. So I mean, you look at it, only 12 of the 29 went from. I mean, so I don't know what the hell that is, 40%, 35%, whatever the frick that number is. So you can go all the way back, and this is the 100th season of the New York Giants. 2024, 1925, 2024, 100 years. So I'm saying, so you go all the way back, 100 years ago, right? There's been turnover every year, But, one thing I did like when I was growing up in the 70s, was that, the way things were, there was no salary cap. There was no, unrestricted free agents, restricted free agents. There was none of that. Giants made trades and stuff like that, but a lot of it was, the team they had, right, for the most part, they carried it a lot of from one year to the next. Now they got rid of guys and stuff like that. Like if you weren't any good, they get rid of you. And they might make a trade here or there or whatever. But, a lot of times, you could see, they'd keep the same core guys together. They keep them and they, from this year and they bring them in the next year. And maybe the next year they bring in another good guy. They draft a good guy or something like that. And they take that group and they carry it forward. As I said, if the guys who were bad or guys who were just injured or whatever, they would let them go, whatever like that. But, I mean, you can kind of keep the same group of guys kind of like year in and year out. And add a little sprinkle here and a little sprinkle there, and that's what I was kind of used to growing up. Now, I mean, the way it is now, it is what it is, right? It's a salary cap. It's, I'm going back 50 years, so things are obviously a little bit different. But, so, it always bothered, and I always get a little bummed out because especially these guys you draft, like Xavier McKinney, Saquon, now whether you think he's worth the money or not, it is what it is. But I mean, like with Xavier McKinney, Shane didn't draft him, but the Giants drafted him. You draft them, develop them, pay them, keep them, whatever, and keep going forward. I mean, so it's always kind of a bummer. I mean, when you draft, especially when you draft guys, right, and you don't wind up keeping them, you let them go. So yeah, it's always a bummer, but it's always exciting, right? Like who are we gonna get? So. The tampering period starts tomorrow, right? The Giants already have themselves, signed up with one meeting anyway, cornerback, and then now they have another cornerback coming in. Siran Neal, right? Well, I'm going to go over this a little bit. He's a little bit more of a special teams ace, because let's not forget. I mean, if the Giants, once again, once it was Shane. When he came in, right, Darnay Holmes was here, Cam Brown, who was here, Carter Coughlin was here. And now it's a shame. We drafted these guys. Shane didn't draft these guys, but apparently, well, they're not my guys, Okay. So probably going to let those guys go. But the thing is, letting those guys go is between Carter Coughlin, Cam Brown, and especially Darnay Holmes. Darnay Holmes did very good special teams last year. And you got to keep the special teams, you got to get some core guys. So Siran Neal, a very good special teamer, right? He's a cornerback. We'll go, as I said, I got a little article. So somebody, if, and it would be cheap. We're not talking mega bucks here. Okay. He would give you some depth at cornerback, but he's more of a special teamer. And I said, especially if you're letting three real good guys go, right? You need to replace those guys, and it's not that easy. The one nice thing is with Siran Neal coming in, okay, is what you have with him. Okay, now he might play a little different from one team to the next, but he's been in the NFL, right? I think it's for 6 seasons. So what you're going to get. It's, especially on special teams, what you're going to get, as long as he stays healthy and all of that. bringing somebody in from college, I said, you can go, oh yeah, no, I think he'll be good. Yeah, I mean, he was good at, whatever. He was good at Alabama. I think he might be good. But you don't know. It's kind of a crapshoot. If you got a body of work from the NFL, right? You can look at the tape, and this is what this guy did in the NFL. He was pretty damn good. You know what I mean? So that's one nice thing about bringing some free agents in. But also, you have to, you want to bring some free agents in, but you don't want to bring in, if you got a 53-man roster, just say you don't want to bring in 20, 25 new free agents. That's not the way. You like to just sprinkle some of these guys in. Now, the one thing is, I mean, we had a ton of guys, a ton of free agents that are probably going to wind up leaving. So we got to replace them. All right. Now, obviously, some will be through the draft, but we're going to have to bring some guys in. Some free agents in as well too. But it looks like we're going to be signing Casey Kreiter. That's good. I don't know if it's going to. I have to read the article. I guess maybe it might be another 1-year deal or something like that. Now, the great thing about the 1-year deals is that if something goes south, if the guy whatever doesn't work out, or if he gets injured, he got him for 1 year, he gets injured, and then if you don't think he's going to recuperate or be as good as the next season, you can just let him go. Right. So, that's the beauty of that. Right. And there's that like really no dead cap money or nothing, dead money or nothing like that. You sign it for 1 year, give him $3 million, and it's, right. So it's nice. The problem is you got to keep re-signing these guys, and even when you have like maybe a lot of salary cap money, I mean, if you got to whatever, just say 53-man roster, well, 25 of them are going to be free agents. It's like you might have a lot of cap money, right? But you don't have a team. So you got to keep re-signing these guys year in and year out. Now, I mean, that's can be obviously, as I said, the 1-year deals have their good parts. So the good part about signing somebody to a multi-year deal is now, if they're good, you got them locked in for multiple years, obviously, but you can also sign them at whatever you can work out, whatever they're happy with, and whatever you're comfortable as far as giving them and all that and everything. But you can always take that first year, right? Salary cap and salary and take the hit and make it a lot less, But, I said, just because we have some money to spend, I said, we're also losing a lot of guys too. Right. But the one nice thing, I mean, if we're probably not going to wind up signing Saquon, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to. The Giants might be, in the hunt for, hey, Ekeler. I mean, man, what did he have? I think he had at least 35 touchdowns. Was it 2021 and 2022? He did take a little bit of a dip this past season, but 2021, 2022, I mean, he had a lot of touchdowns. But they were also talking about maybe going after Pollard. Now, once again, these are NFL rumors. Okay. Giants eye Austin Ekeler, Tony Pollard amid the Saquon Barkley contract buzz. So we'll have to wait and see. It says the Giants are beginning to ponder a backfield without running back Saquon Barkley, according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler. Fowler reported the Giants are still in the mix on a potential re-sign, but are also looking at other options, such as Tony Pollard and Austin Ekeler. Jordan Renan of ESPN reported the Giants were dissuaded from applying the franchise tag to Barkley for a second straight season, in part because of how many options are available. There are a lot of options out here. Absolutely. Beyond Pollard and Ekeler, Josh Jacobs, who led the league in rushing yards in 2022, is a free agent along with Derrick Henry and DeAndre Swift. Renan wrote how players in a lower tier at the position could interest the Giants at a much more respectable price. Zach Moss, Singletary, Alexander Madison specifically listed. Renan cited a source who said the Giants broadly just don't see the value in investing $10 million in a running back. Not only does that raise doubts about a reunion with Barkley, but the Giants could also take itself out of the running for the other established vets as well, too. Perhaps Pollard or Ekeler may hit the sweet spot of giving the Giants a ready-made replacement for Barkley while not going beyond the soft monetary limit they're setting. Now, I mean, I'm also kind of making fun of Barkley possibly entertaining a deal going to the Eagles or something like that. Well, how about Pollard maybe going to the Giants? I mean, right. Pollard ran for 1,000 yards for the second straight year in 2023, though his yards per carry did take a dip. He was at 5.2. Now his yards per carry went down to 4. He at least reaffirmed he can be a feature back in his first full season as the Dallas Cowboys' primary ball carrier. And he also catches the ball, too. Ekeler, meanwhile, is trending in the wrong direction. He turns 29. That might be one of the reasons why his yards per carry took a dip this past season. He turns 29 in May, having set a career low for yards per carry, 3.5, and totaled his fewest yards from scrimmage, 1,064 since 2020. He nonetheless remains an effective pass catcher, and his poor rushing totals could be attributed in part to the injuries across the Los Angeles Chargers offense. Yeah. Ekeler would be a logical candidate to succeed Barkley. Now, I mean, Ekeler is very good what do we got here? 2 years ago, it was at 107 receptions Ekeler had 2 seasons ago. What was that? What do we got here? Yeah, 2020, 107 receptions. I mean, that one season he only averaged 6.7 yards of reception, so nothing crazy. But if you look once again, this was a couple years ago, and he is, he's getting up there in age. He's going to be 29, right? He's been in the league since 2017, so he's been in the league longer than Saquon. And he has a lot more receptions than Saquon. He has 440 receptions. Saquon only has 288 receptions. Okay, so Austin has a lot more receptions than Saquon does. And Ekeler in 2019 recorded 92 receptions. So, I mean, he catches the ball. But we look here, I said in 2021, he had 12 rushing touchdowns, and he had 8 receiving. He had 20 touchdowns in 2021. 2022, he had 13 rushing touchdowns and 5 receiving touchdowns. So he had 38 touchdowns in those 2 seasons. Now, once again, he's getting up there in age, right? We're talking about the Giants offense here. So the Giants offense hardly scores 20 touchdowns, period, much less from one guy. But this past season, he only had 5 rushing touchdowns and he had 1 receiving touchdown. So we'll have to wait and see. But what we got here? All right. This is according to PFF. That's all I'm going by. Austin Ekeler, 2 years, $4.5 million a season. Right. Tony Pollard, they have 3-year deal, $6.67 million. So basically a 3-year deal for $20 million. Right. With $11.5 million guaranteed. So that would be a lot cheaper than what Saquon wants. Right. And Tony Pollard is he's about the same age as Saquon, right? But I mean he's a very I wouldn't have a problem with him. Right? I mean, doesn't quite maybe have the moves that Saquon does, but he would be a lot cheaper. And especially if you sign him for 6.67 annual per season, you can give him a little sign-in bonus or something like that, and take his 6.67 annual salary and knock it down to maybe like $4 million this year or something like that. So you can get somebody with a Tony Pollard, and for this season, maybe for $3 or $4 million a season. So that wouldn't be bad at all. Now, Pollard, he did take a little dip, especially per season, yards per carry this season. He went down to 4. Now, if you look, 2021, he averaged 5.5 yards a carry. 2022, he averaged 5.2 yards a carry. This past season, 2023, he only averaged 4 yards a carry. which is by far his worst career. His rookie season in 2019, he averaged, what do we got here? 5.3. Right. So, I mean, he's used to averaging over 5 yards a carry. This past season, he barely made 4. But, past 2 seasons, 2022 and 2023, he had over 1,000 yards rushing. So, right. And we know he's a very, very good back. And he is, he's been very durable, right? If you go back with Tony Pollard, right? 2019, he played in 15 out of the 16 games. 2020, he played in all 16 games. 2021, he played in 15 out of the 16 games. 2022, he played in 16 out of the 17 games. And last season, he started at and he played in all 17 games for the Dallas Cowboys. So, right. And he's decent receiving. This past season, he caught 55 passes. Right. The seasons before that, he caught 39 and 39, but that's when Zeke was there. Right. So, I mean, he wasn't a, the premier back. Right. He maybe would come in on 3rd down or something like that or whatever. So, so the amount of yards he caught, I mean, especially in 2022, I mean, he had almost 1,400 total yards. Right. And, Zeke was on the team. So, I ain't got no problem with Pollard. And said he would certainly be, a little bit cheaper than what Saquon would be. So, would never a problem. So, I mean, either one. But, I mean, there are other guys. Let's see what we got here. Look at this. All right, here we go. As I said, I mean, if you look, these are guys on as of right now are unsigned. Of course, Saquon, but Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, Pollard, Austin Ekeler, DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, Devin Singletary, right? Gus Edwards, A.J. Dillon, Zach Moss. I've seen his name being floated around. Maybe somebody. I mean, he would be under $4 million a season. Deontay Foreman, Antonio Gibson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I mean, there's a lot of guys out there. And as I said, let's not forget, the draft's coming up as well too. So, right, a lot of options. Wouldn't be taking a running back in the 1st or 2nd round, but if you wanted to, get somebody, maybe the 3rd round or the 4th round, you can certainly, you got Eric Gray, right? You got a running back by committee, right? Eric Gray, draft somebody in the 4th round, right? You got Jashawn Carvin, right? Eric Gray, you draft somebody in the 4th round, or you get Eric Gray, you draft somebody in the 4th, whatever, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, or whatever. And the next season, you bring somebody else in, maybe draft somebody else. And we have a nice young stable of running backs, right? And you can just keep fresh guys in there, right? So, but man, it's getting exciting. All right, next we got here, of course, they re-signed Casey Kreiter, which is good. He'll remain in New York. It said the Giants have agreed to terms with veteran long snapper Casey Kreiter just before the beginning of the official start of free agency. The news was first reported by Jordan Renan. Kreiter, I mean, he's getting up there, right? He's 33. He will continue his career with the Giants. He joined the organization in 2020, is now entering his 5th season in New York. And things like with him, we just keep re-signing him to 1-year deals. But I mean, like specifically maybe like next season, let's not forget, we should have a decent amount of salary cap space next season. But when you look at the salary cap, right, it's also, you also want to compare it to how many guys are free agents. I mean, if you're losing basically half your team, it's like, you got to re-sign a whole team. That's where some of the salary cap's money is going to get chewed up. Right? But since his arrival in the Big Apple, Kreiter has appeared in every game with 67 starts. The former Iowa Hawkeye went undrafted in 2014 and signed with the Dallas Cowboys. Kreiter spent the 2016 to 2019 seasons with the Broncos, where he appeared in 58 games. Kreiter is the first of the Giants' long list of undrafted free agents to return to the team. A long list of them. Oh, yeah. Giants will have a new special teams coach in 2024, right? Michael Gabriel, replacing McGahee. The free agency negotiation window, which teams can officially start negotiating with potential free agents from other teams, begins Monday at 4 o'clock. Yes. Let the games begin. Now, this is where we bring in Siran Neal. Giants brought in free. He's scheduled for a visit. Okay. Now he's once he played with Buffalo. Okay, so there's that familiarity, especially with Shane. Now Dable knows of him, but he didn't play offense. So, but with free agency set to begin this week, the Giants are reportedly taking a look at former Buffalo Bills cornerback Siran Neal. According to NFL Network's Cameron Wolf, the Giants are scheduled to host Neal for a visit on Monday, the same day the legal tampering period opens. The 29-year-old is currently a street free agent and available to sign before then, though after Buffalo released him. So apparently he's available to sign before then. So a street free agent. So former fifth-round pick of the Bills in 2018, Neal has spent all 6 of his seasons in Buffalo, with the vast majority of his snaps coming on special teams. He's played 567 defensive snaps over 97 career games with 1 start. So, you look at it, you figure what? He's played 6 seasons, 567 defensive snaps. He's basically played averaged 90 defensive snaps a season. So, it's not many at all. While Neal won't be the starting caliber corner Big Blue needs, he would be a solid depth addition to the secondary and on top of being able to provide help on special teams. As I said, let's not forget, we're missing probably, letting Carter Coughlin go, Cam Brown, and maybe Darnay Holmes. So, let's see here. This is the second meeting the Giants have had or will have with a free agent cornerback, as the team is reportedly hosting former Jacksonville Jaguar corner Darius Williams on a visit on Sunday. So we'll have to wait and see. But if then Williams would be a very, 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 very solid pickup for the Giants. He wouldn't cost a lot of money, and he could be a very good, solid cornerback number 2 for the Giants. So, once again, it takes 2 to tango. Just because they're bringing him in does not mean they're signing him. It's not guaranteed that they're signing him. But, if they did sign him, wouldn't be bad. Would not be bad at all. But with Neal, let's see here. All right, so Neal. Okay, this is special teams. Okay, last season, special teams, he graded out a 66.9. He was on 379 special teams snaps last season. So, he's kick return, kick coverage, punt return, punt coverage, field goal block. He's just not on the field goal team, right? Where you need maybe big guys in or whatever like that who can block, right? But he's on everything else, right? Let's see what we got here. I said he was a 66.9 last season. No, not bad. Tackles. He said he only had 5 tackles last season. But 2022, we got 55.3, but 2021, he graded at 85.1. 2020, this is on special teams from PFF. He graded at 65. 2019, graded at 72. And 2018, his first year in the league, he graded at 62.3 on special teams. So, very, very respectable. 2021, he had 11 tackles. So, not too shabby. I know it's defensive here. Now, his defensive grades are not super phenomenal. Last season, once again, let's see here. Let's see. This is just all straight defense. Okay, yeah. Last season, Neal graded out of 42.1. His run defense was a 63.8. His tackle was a 78.5. His pass rush was a 74. But his coverage grade was a 35.8. So that really hurt him. That hurt him. But, if you look, 2022, he graded out of 59.8. 2021, he graded out of 48.5. That is on defense. 2020, graded out of 64.1. 2019, 64. And his first year in the league, only played 15 snaps, though, on defense. But in 2018, graded out of 72.8. So, he would be he's 6 foot, 206. Nice size, nice weight, all that and everything like that, right? He's just not going to be a top cornerback for you. But, if you bring him in, he would certainly be some depth for you at the cornerback position. But more importantly, he would be a good contributor probably on special teams. So once again, somebody, the Giants could bring in, right? You're going to get some good use out of him, right? And he won't break the bank. So wouldn't be too bad. All right, then we got, it says the Giants are in good salary cap situation to start free agency. This is from SI.com, from Giants Country. When it comes to their salary cap, New York Giants have come a long way since general manager Joe Schoen inherited a complete disaster following his predecessor, Dave Gettleman's retirement. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Gettleman remembered that in a bid to jumpstart the Giants' progress, he went on a massive free agent spending spree in a couple of cases. Kenny Golladay, Adoree Jackson, that saw him bidding against himself. Acquiring the free agents that Gettleman did and at the prices he paid set the Giants up for future cap problems, necessitating the restructuring of several deals in which Schoen had to tack on voidable years to spread out those base salaries that were converted to signing bonuses. That's all in the past, as the last of the Gettleman-era contracts are starting to fall off the books this year. So where does this leave the Giants in terms of their salary cap health a day before free agency begins? And let's not forget, right? Schoen can restructure a few contracts and possibly get up to maybe like another $30 million in salary cap savings or space. Andrew Thomas, Sexy Dexy, and Bobby Okereke. And if you wanted to, which I don't think you're going to, the Daniel Jones. I think he wants to leave that one alone just because that way he can have like an escape hatch if he wants to after this season's over. Let him go because there's already I think if they let him go after this season, it'll be like a $22 million dead cap hit, right? So, that's bad enough, but you don't want to add on maybe even more, right? So I don't think he's going to. It was kind of like, maybe it was like kind of like the Leonard Williams contract from last season or so. There's some contracts he just didn't want to touch, or like Adoree Jackson or something like that. Contracts he just maybe didn't want to touch because maybe they were going to go bye-bye, right? So, and I think Daniel Jones's contract might be one of them. They not want to touch that one. Dead cap money. Dead money refers to a cap charge a team must carry even though the player is no longer on the roster because he was cut before his contract expired or because a voidable year in his deal was inserted to spread out the prorated signing bonus. As of this writing, the Giants currently have $19 million in dead cap money, the 10th most in the NFL, and over the current league average, 15.6. So they're over the league average as far as dead cap money. The bulk of the dead money comes from Leonard Williams trade, $10.36 million, or 55.8% of the dead money comes from Leonard Williams, right? Which was a post-June 1 transaction last year, given when Williams was traded to Seattle. Let's not forget, right? So we got the dead cap money, all this stuff and everything, but we also got a second-round pick for him. So that's not bad, right? Because that dead cap money, while it stinks and hurts this year, it'll be off the books next year. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, that second-round pick we have, if we hit on it, let's hope we hit on it, right? Hopefully he'll be on the Giants team for a long time. So, Giants also have 3 contracts, cornerback Adoree Jackson, Tyrod Taylor, and A'Shawn Robinson that had void years in them, again, to spread out the prorated signing bonus it took to acquire the player's services. Those 3 account for $6.48 million of dead cap money, or basically a total of 34% of the dead cap money, right? No NFL team is ever going to go into a year without dead money. But the goal is to keep the dead money as low as possible. The more dead money one has, the less one can go and do in free agency. And unless they have money, they have to extend its players, right? Although the Giants are over the league average and the baseline, as well as the Giants' placement in the order, will change once Denver releases quarterback Russell Wilson. The dead money shouldn't be too crippling of an effect for a team that has a lot of holes to fill. The Giants are, it says here, top 5. They're top heavy. Some of their contracts, the top 5. Where the Giants could do a little better job moving forward is with their top 5 highest cap hits. Currently, the Giants are top heavy, meaning they have at least 5 players, Daniel Jones, Andrew Thomas, Dexter Lawrence, Darren Waller, and Bobby Okereke, with 2024 cap hits of at least $11 million. That's as of right now. Now, if Waller does retire, right, that would eliminate one of those. Those 5 contracts account for roughly $118 million of their total cap liability, roughly 53.2% of their total cap liabilities. That's an average of $23.628 million per player. There are certain contracts that the Giants would be wise not to touch, namely those belonging to Jones and Waller, both of whom might not be on this team after this year. That's a possibility. While Shane currently has enough to start free agency, he could gain more if he were to restructure Andrew Thomas's, Sexy Dexy, and Bobby Okereke's deal, which is expected to be in play at some point as the 2024 league progresses. So don't be surprised if he winds up, restructuring some of those guys. Despite being top heavy, and again, I expect that to change at some point in the year, the Giants are in a very good place cap-wise. New York doesn't have to extend any young players as they did last year when they locked up Thomas and Lawrence, which means that they can allocate their financial resources toward rebuilding those areas lacking talent. And there are areas lacking talent. As for their free agents, New York is believed to have a ceiling regarding what they would be willing to pay running back Saquon Barkley and Xavier McKinney. The fact that the Giants didn't use the franchise tag or transition tag on either player tells you that the team isn't looking to play each player the respective amount of the tag. It also tells you that the 2 players will likely seek better deals on the open market and have a good chance of landing them. The Giants also have other free agents that they probably like to have back, including Gunnar Olszewski. I'll tell you what, they let that guy go. They're just stone cold crazy. I really think they should. I hope they bring him back. Ben Bredesen, he's some good depth. Certainly some very good depth, and he has some flexibility in there as too. Something that Priscilla wants. Positional flexibility. Inside linebacker Isaiah Simmons. I haven't heard anything at all about him. Now, what I have seen is that, I can't remember if it was PFF or maybe it was Spot Track, I think it might have been, has Isaiah Simmons to be projected to make like $15 million a season. Now, I think that's a little on the high side for Isaiah Simmons, but you also look at it too, is that the Giants traded a draft pick to get the guy. You're going to trade a draft pick to get the guy, use his services for whatever it was, 3/4 of the year, whatever it was, and then you're just going to let him go. And he's a good young talent, has a lot of his athletic abilities, simply just silly. But it's up to Bowen, right? He's got his defense. He knows what he likes to do. He likes to run and this, that, and the other thing. And then he looks at Isaiah Simmons, and it's kind of like, well, I could use him, but he's only going to be on the field about 25% of the time. And he tells that to Shane. And Shane's like, well, he's supposed to get whatever, $10 million a season, just throwing a number out there. We want to pay a guy $10 million a season with the athletic ability he has and all that stuff. But if he's only going to be on the defensive field, right, playing at 25% of the time, it's like, that's not quite worth it. We might have to let him go. So we'll have to wait and see. So they got other guy. Got Nick McLeod, who's a restricted free agent, right? Then they got Benton Whitley. They got a bunch of guys. None of those names should cost the Giants major dollars to re-sign, leaving the Giants in perfect situation to allocate the financial resources to most glaring holes on the roster and the position groups that need to hit the ground running in 2024, such as offensive line, edge rusher, cornerback, and defensive line. Yeah, they need, Now the thing is, if you go by and you figure, right, you kind of look, right? We could use another cornerback. We could use somebody next to Sexy Dexy, right? A young stud, right? We need edge rusher, right? So there's at least 3 there. Now, you're not so sure how much of a panic mode they are as far as with safeties, right? Now, if we're going to let Xavier McKinney go, are they like, oh, we got to get somebody to replace him? Or they're like, that's all right. We drafted Javarius Owens last season. Still like him. Belton, right? And we got Pinnock. We need to add some depth without question. So maybe they'll draft somebody in the 4th or 5th round or whatever, 3rd round, right? I don't know, right? And maybe bring somebody in on the cheap on, because safeties, especially lower tier safeties, ain't going to cost you a boatload of money. So, maybe in free agency, they'll bring somebody in. But without question, they can really use, and they get a nice stud, right? Next to Sexy Dexy, an edge rusher and a cornerback. And then you go on the offensive side, right? Probably need some type of running back, right? A wide receiver, need a guard, right? So I'm not sure what they're doing with the quarterback or anything like that. But, we certainly need like, at least 5 or 6, and then we need depth, right? So you figure, we got 3 early picks. Right. So hopefully with those 3 early picks, we can fill in a couple of those holes. And I said, you go out in free agency. As I said, the Giants might be looking for one of these, a Pollard or Ekeler, maybe in a running back. Won't cost them a lot. They maybe go looking at maybe a guard, bringing in Williams, maybe it might be the cornerback. So, the Giants certainly could fill some holes. That's for sure. Between the draft and free agency, certainly, without question. Fill some holes, and then we need to start getting some good quality depth in there too, and then of course we need to keep our fingers crossed that we can stay somewhat healthy as well too. The nice thing is that if you want to call it that, when we got annihilated, right, with all these injuries, right, it kind of gives you a little indication, how's that depth doing? Because when you basically go out there and every week guys keep getting injured. Well, let's put the backup in there. Okay, this guy, you come in, you come in, you get to see how good your depth is. And Giants got a good indication of that last season, and some of the areas were a little lacking with that depth. That's for sure. All right, and then finally, Mac Daddy Jones getting traded to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Mac Daddy probably a decent quarterback as far as a backup, right? The thing is, he's a first rounder. They got Lawrence, and they got Mac Daddy Jones. So. But now, what does this mean now for the Giants? Right? Is this kind of like take their, if they have any wishes or any thoughts or any visions of trading up to number 3? Does that kind of light it on fire and have it all go up in smokes? Right? Because now the Patriots, they had Mac Daddy Jones, they got Zappy. I don't know who else they have. So basically, they need themselves a quarterback, big time. Right, not that Mac Daddy Jones was much of a quarterback for him, but so is that almost definitely guarantee now that uno, dos, tres, quarterback, right? Because you figure if just from what you hear, right, the Bears might be moving on from Fields, so maybe that quite possibly there goes Caleb Williams. How something if the Commanders think that Al can be their franchise quarterback, okay, maybe one of those quarterbacks jumps, who slides back a spot or whatever. But I don't know. I think if they're in that much of a position, if they like really, really, really like one of these quarterbacks, and they're in that position, spot 2, if they're like Daniels or May, you take them, right? And let Howell and May battle it out, right? And then if worse comes worse, if you like May, you bring in somebody else to maybe to back them up or whatever like that. You trade Howell, get something. Maybe not this season, but I'm saying after the season's over, you trade Howell and you get something for him, right? But then, now the Patriots really need quarterback now. So, without question, they can certainly go out in free agency. I don't know if they're in the Kirk Cousins, lottery or whatever, But maybe they might try to go in somehow that route, right? They can also maybe, entertain phone calls because it's kind of like they need a lot. Patriots need a lot. They need it. They need a team, right? So what they could do with that third pick is entertain phone calls, right? Look at just saying the Giants, right? The Giants go from 6 to 3. I'm just throwing this out here. No idea, none of that. But just say the Giants go from 6 to 3. The Patriots need, more guys on their team. The team's not very good at all. So if the Giants were to trade, just from what I'm hearing, go from 6 to 3, they trade pick 6, and it quite possibly might cost them maybe 3 second-round picks. So if they go up, they can maybe grab their quarterback. Once again, I'm just throwing this out there, right? But, for the Patriots, right, if they can slide back to 6, they're still going to get themselves a stud. And they got 3 second-round picks. They could turn those 4 picks into 4 starters, right? Nothing worse, in a way, than grabbing a young quarterback, a good stud, and his team blows. There's no offensive line, no weapons, and what do you want them to do? Right? There are other ways. Let's get ourselves a team, okay? And then we can go get a quarterback and plop him in there, and he'll have more success, right? So we'll have to wait and see. But, this does kind of shake things up a little bit. Patriots trade Mac Daddy Jones to the Jaguars. What does this mean for the New York Football Giants? This is from Giants country. This is Patty Trainer. She did this here too. Mac Daddy Jones era is over in New England, as the Patriots are sending their 2021 first-round pick, 15th overall, to the Jacksonville Jaguars for what ESPN reports will likely be a 6th-round pick. Holy cow. Wow. Oh, my God. The trade of Jones is significant for the Giants in that New England, who was slotted to draft 3rd in this year's draft, now really needs a quarterback. There has been some early offseason buzz that the Patriots might go the veteran route, which is still possible, right? Let's see. To pursue Jones' successor, but with their draft position and the quarterback draft class being so deep, it may make more sense for the Patriots to launch new head coach Gerard Mayo's tenure with a rookie quarterback that can become part of the team's core moving forward. Patriots have had mention as a potential trade partner for the Giants, who are also widely thought to be searching for a new franchise quarterback, given incumbent Daniel Jones is concerning and growing injury history. Unless New England does indeed go the veteran route, free agency route, which is possible because we'll know, right? If all of a sudden, in 3-4 days from now, you turn around, you look at New England's roster, it's like, hey, they got Kirk Cousins on there or whatever, right? Okay, so they won't be drafting a quarterback then. Right? Unless they sign Kirk Cousins for a year. Just throwing this out there, right? They bring in Kirk Cousins for a year, and then they can still draft themselves a quarterback who could sit behind Kirk Cousins, watch and learn. Then after one season, you let go Kirk Cousins go, and you bring in Daniels to be your starting quarterback. So that's always a possibility too. Let's see. it would appear that the Patriots may no longer be a realistic trade partner for the Giants if New York indeed wants to trade up or to have a chance at one of the widely regarded top quarterbacks. The Commanders, who draft second in the order, have been floated as a potential trade partner for the Giants if they decide to keep Sam Howell as their franchise quarterback. But interdivision trades are rarely made, except for when the Cowboys and the Eagles traded, and the Eagles got DeVonta Smith. Because basically everybody in their grandma kind of knew that Gettleman was after DeVonta Smith. So the Cowboys and the Eagles pulled one on the Giants because I guess the Giants had their loose lips, which kind of sinks ships. So then we wound up trading back and wound up getting Kadarius Toney, and then we got the rest is history. But anyway, let's see. Which the Giants at this point most definitely are not to go into a deep playoff run. It would also cost way more for the Giants to move up to number 2 than it would to number 3. But plus also would the Commanders entertain a trade with the Giants to move up to grab a quarterback that might kick the Commanders' butt for the next 10 years? Don't know about that. Right? Giants manager Joe Shane told reporters at the Combine that he expected the roster to have a much different look after the bulk of free agency was over, and that the moves that the team could accomplish in free agency would potentially shape their draft plans. Absolutely. Giants, given the depth of the quarterbacks and the receivers class in this draft, the most likely scenario is for the Giants to sit tight at number 6 and take the best available player. If that player is a receiver, the Giants could also explore trading back up in the bottom of the first round if they don't think a quarterback will get them one of these quarterbacks won't get to him in the second round. There's the wild cards right here. Now, you just keep hearing more and more about McCarthy. Now, he's not getting, I'm just wanting to hear it anyway. It doesn't seem like McCarthy's getting out of the teens. Forget about it. He's gone. The things are, all right, now you got the Rattle Man, right? The Rattler. Where's he going to go? Second round, third round? Might be more like it. What about Penix? What about Nix? Right? I keep hearing Nix might make it to the second round. I don't know about Penix. Penix, very, very good. The issue with him is injuries. He's had a lot of injuries in college. But Penix is a very good quarterback. Somebody might grab him in the first round. So the Giants might need to jump up maybe back into the first round and maybe take those, maybe, I don't know, whatever. They could take their second round pick and a third round pick and maybe jump back up into the first round or something like that. Maybe grab one of those quarterbacks. We'll have to wait and see, right? But it's going to be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. I'm dying to see where McCarthy's going to go, but I don't think he's going to get out of the teens, just the way things have been, stuff I'm just hearing. They said, where's Penix going to go? Is he going to make it out of the first round? Doesn't sound like it. Doesn't sound like he's going to make it out of the first round. They said the Knicks. And then there's other guys. There's a guy from Tulane, Rattler, there's other guys, guy from Tennessee. So very, very interesting. The scenario will give the Giants 2 first-round draft picks, potentially a receiver and a quarterback if the Giants jump back into the first round and maybe grab themselves a quarterback. In the case of the quarterback, if the Giants were to get him on a late first-round pick, that would give them the extra year on the rookie deal to where the Giants can afford to let a rookie quarterback sit and develop further before eventually being called upon to take over if the incumbent Daniel Jones continues to flop or suffers another injury. Yeah. So, you look at it if the Giants were to jump back into the first round, say trade with somebody, hey, there's some teams that don't need quarterbacks, right? Trade with the Chiefs. Last time I checked, that Patrick Mahomes is pretty good. They don't need a quarterback, right? So see if they can trade with the Chiefs, maybe jump back at number 32 if one of the guys is there, right? And say they take Penix. Once again, just throwing something out there. They take Penix as number 32. They got to give up maybe their second and third round pick. Once again, just throwing stuff out there. But so now they got Penix, okay? So now they can let him sit behind because now they'll have him for 5 seasons, 5 relatively affordable, cheap seasons. So if he were to sit, say, behind Daniel Jones for a year, right? And then, maybe if you're going to let Daniel Jones go at the end of the season, right, after 2024, right, let him go, and then you can put Penix on the field next season. You let him sit for a year or so. Let him watch and develop or whatever, let him learn and all of this, right? But you can get him for 5 seasons. So you let him sit for the first season, and it's not costing an arm or leg. It's not like you went out in free agency and paid $40 million a year for Daniel Jones, and you got him sitting on the bench. Now, so you got this guy, say Penix at number 32. I don't know what the 32nd pick is going to cost, whatever, $3 million a season. I'm saying you have him on the sideline for a year, learning, right? And then maybe in 2025 you bring him in. And if you did in 2025, you still have him for 4 seasons, right? And those 4 seasons, right, it could be huge, because that's when you start obviously keep building the team around a rookie quarterback on their rookie deal. And look what the 49ers did with Purdy, right? Look at the talent they had. Their offensive line, maybe the best left tackle in football, Christian McCaffrey, the Skittle man, Ayuk, Deebo Samuel. The talent was there. Why? Because they got Purdy, paying him 15 cents an hour, basically. Patrick Mahomes, what was he? I think it was $45 million a year, but then that contract was drawn up a few years ago. But but the Chiefs gave him almost $500 million to be their quarterback. And Purdy's Mr. Irrelevant, basically making nothing. So that allows the 49ers to build up the roster. Now, it's going to be interesting to see if they keep Purdy around for another few seasons, because they only got him for 4. Then the 5th season, right, they got to either get rid of him or ante up. Right, and they got to start anteing up, and they're going to go from basically paying him like $800,000 a season to 45 or 50 million. Well, you can say bye-bye to a lot of those good ball players you got. So, that's the one thing. So, that's why it's, if you can, if you can draft a young quarterback, right, and get somebody who think you might be able to take it to a Super Bowl, and you build a team around him, right? Because once you got to start paying those guys, that's when say bye-bye to a lot of your talent. So tomorrow night, boy, we're gonna have some news. Who's coming? Who's going? Obviously, we'll have a bunch of news, because the Giants are 1 team out of 32. So, the Giants hopefully have some positive news, but there's gonna be tons of other news throughout the league. But I'll tell you what, man. Oh man, it's just like Christmas here, huh? What presents are we gonna get tomorrow, man? All right, guys, been 57 minutes, getting close to 1 hour. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there, and go Giants. Woo!